How's everyone doing? Thanks for joining me on my small engine repair channel. Today's project is once again on my personal MTD two-stage snowblower, and what we're going to do today is revisit a previous problem we had with this. Alright guys, so some of you might recognize this machine from a previous video. I had done a video on why this thing is throwing one of the auger belts. And as you can see, I currently have only one auger belt on this thing because even though I thought I had fixed this issue by replacing the belts, it turns out that it was an epic fail. The belt did probably need to be replaced, but that was not the main cause of the problem. Now, the video that I did previously did show the machine running with both belts engaged and the augers turning. But the problem is what happens in this machine is that once I engage the drive system with the augers running, that's when it seems to be throwing the belts. So we'll try and further investigate as to why this is happening and see if we can't fix it. All right, so I have you guys zoomed into the auger pulleys right down here, and those pulleys match up with these pulleys that come off the crankshaft. And so when we engage the impeller, what happens is through a series of cables and whatnot, it actually engages this idler pulley here and puts tension on these two belts. Okay, and so normally there's no tension, so that means the auger is not actually spinning, although the crankshaft is constantly spinning. Once we engage that, it engages, puts tension on these belts, and then drives that pulley, these two pulleys down here. Now, what I've noticed and what I think might be the problem is I believe that these pulleys have a bit of a wobble. And I'm going to pull this over, and I want you to focus your attention mostly on these two pulleys, and you'll see they're actually out of balance, or they wobble a little bit. All right, so hopefully you picked up on that. They are definitely wobbling a little bit, and then of course at high speeds that wobble gets worse and worse. All right, so I think that is our main problem, but for me, it's not really worth taking this whole assembly apart, splitting the front and back half of this snowblower, and then taking those pulleys off and replacing them. I don't have a good used set, so to me it's not really worth it. So I'm going to try and figure out a workaround to try and keep these two belts on these pulleys when it's running. All right, so I flipped the machine up on its bucket here in the service position, took off this bottom panel here with the 3/8 bolts. And I just wanted to further discuss this from this bottom perspective here. So this belt is the one that keeps falling off, and that one is closest to the drive disc here. Okay, so normally when the drive disc is not engaged, which is in the current position here, then as you can see, there's no gap between this pulley and this plate. Okay, so basically what I think is going on is that even though this wobbles a little bit, there is a bit of a break here that also disengages when you pull the auger handle up top to engage the auger. So that will release, but it doesn't release very much, and it probably provides enough not enough clearance for that belt to skip off of this pulley. But as you can see, that doesn't ride up high enough to guard from this belt coming off of this pulley. Okay, so what does do it is probably this guy right here, or this assembly right here, this plate, okay, that goes around. So what I believe is happening is, if this is engaged and it's wobbling a little bit, and then I engage the drive system, which actually pulls this disc and this plate up like so, that's when that belt keeps falling off. Okay, so I think there's just enough room for that belt, because of the wobble, to actually just slip off, because there's nothing holding it on. So what I'm going to try and rig up here is something that's going to prevent this belt from coming off the pulley, even if this is engaged. All right, so what I've just done there is essentially just put a nut and a bolt right in line with where that belt is going to be, and just on the inside of that. Now, once I go to put that belt on, I'm going to have to take that off, that nut and bolt. So yeah, it's an extra step if you're wanting to replace your belt. I'm probably going to put another one on this side as well. So I think we're going to leave that one good enough, call that one good enough. I think that'll work for that side, but I'd like to put another one on this side as well. I got everything put together kind of like I want. This one ended up being a little bit higher than I had hoped for. I had hoped to be kind of lined exactly up with that middle of that belt, but hopefully it does its job. Now there's quite a bit of space there, so I might have to shim it out a little bit with maybe a couple washers. This side ended up pretty much exactly where I wanted it. So I know it's hard to see there, maybe a little top view. And I like how far it is away from the belt. I don't think the belt's coming off of there. It's probably not going to come off here either. I'm not 100% sure. So, and I don't even know if this is going to work. So this might all be for nothing. It might be an epic fail. So anyways, I'm going to put the belts up on the pulleys up top there, and then I'm going to flip this down and we're going to give it a test drive. Alright, so we're ready to fire this thing up. What I'd like to do is once I fire this thing up, I'm going to engage the augers without engaging the drive. What I want you to do is take a look at how much sort of wiggle or out of balance these two pulleys happen to be. I did show you as I was pulling it over with the pull rope, but you'll see it much more clearly once I start the engine and it runs much faster. Okay, and then what we'll do then is we'll engage the drive and we'll see if this thing pops off. It was popping off like immediately before. So once I engage the drive, so if it's going to do it again, I suspect it'll probably be immediately as well. But let's take a look. Alright guys, looks like I got her figured out. Definitely was an issue with that belt slipping off when I was engaging the drive system. So applying those two sort of stoppers seemed to help. It cost me no dollars, and looks like I got this one fixed up. So hopefully it's going to help somebody out there someday. If you like the content, please hit the like button. Really helps me out on the channel. If you're not a subscriber and you like this kind of stuff, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And there's also a notification bell to notify you every time I publish a new video just like this one. So thanks again for watching, guys. And until our next project, take care.